So if you're an investor and you buy a substantial amount into a real estate investment, do you get voting rights in terms of how you maybe want to manage that property or have
Yeah,
input or okay.
yeah, one token equals one vote, and it's universal to
Okay.
everyone. So you're sort of all, and that's what's unique about us and why, our platform's not just limited to accredited investors, right? Is because everyone has essentially equal say. Normally, you have structures that people tend to use in real estate. There's one active manager, right? The general partner or the GP, and everyone else is kind of passively investing money with that GP, right? You give your money to someone else, and you're known as a limited partner. So you have skin in the game, you have money there, but you don't actually get to make any decisions. And it's up to this GP to decide which property to buy with the money, when to sell it, how much to sell it for, what kind of value to add on the property, if any. And they basically control everything. And so those type of structures and products essentially end up being securities, and that's why you have to be an accredited investor. But that kind of, to us at least, defeats the entire purpose, right? The entire goal of fractional real estate is to make real estate investing accessible to everyone. And if you have to limit it to accredited investors, then that defeats the entire purpose and
Mhm.
the vision essentially. And so we realized that if you have a group of people, like they could be friends, family, colleagues, but they acquire real estate collectively together and manage it collectively together as sort of equals, right? Some people might own more, so they have more voting rights essentially, but essentially you're all equals. There isn't like one person that's managing it and everyone else being silent. That structure doesn't require, it's not a securities, and so it doesn't require accreditation. It doesn't require all these other complicated structures and registrations. Um, and to be honest, it's actually more transparent for the users as well. So again, because you manage everything, you have full insight into all the data and the details. You're in control. You have the right to request any information you want. And so, again, it's like why buying your own house doesn't require you to be an accredited investor, because you have full control of that. You have all the details, all the information. There doesn't need to be any mandated disclosure laws or anything like that, right? So that's really what's different and unique about this. And that's essentially our goal, right? To make it so that if you go on the open real estate market, you can buy a house as long as you have the money whenever you want to. And then, as crazy as it sounds, within a week or two, you could put it up for sale, and no one comes and tells you and says like, hey, you're not allowed to sell for 5 years, which in these fund structures tends to be the case. So we wanted to mimic that. Like, that's how the real estate market is, and that's how the platform should be. We are very different in the sense that while you don't have to do any physical work, like you're not getting the phone call at 2 or 3 a.m. Because a pipe is leaking. The reason is because the group collectively hires a property manager that handles the sort of day-to-day management, collecting the rent, picking up the phone calls, making repairs, things like that. But all the management decisions are voted on by the owners of the property, of the tokens. And so, it's not physical work, but you are required to vote on things. And so you are like managing your own portfolio of real estate essentially. So it's not actually passive investing. And for folks that want passive investing or just simple exposure, there's already instruments out there that fit them. Like REITs exist for a reason, right? Like if you don't want any, say, just like I want some exposure to real estate, you're probably better off just putting in some money into this REIT, on the stock market. It's probably more liquid as well versus putting your money into some private fund, which a lot of these platforms are essentially operating. So Lofty is the only place where you can buy real estate very easily, but at the same time, you can also sell real estate very easily. And again, that's just unique to us because we're trying to mimic what you